What's up, guys? Brian back here with another recap video. This time we're recapping what went down on tonight's episode of NWA Power. Of course, NWA Power happens every Tuesday on their official YouTube channel. Um, and speaking of NWA, they have been in the news recently as far as wrestling news is concerned. Uh, Apparently, they had a deal with the CW network, and that apparently has changed because of a very controversial segment that happened at their last event. Um, I think it was like a few weeks ago, or week or two ago. So um, it was I forget what the segment was, but it was not very well. It was not taken very well by the CW network. That apparently they were talking about possibly airing their shows on the CW app instead of the CW network on TV. Uh, that on top of that, today it was announced that the CW network will be the new home of NXT starting in October of next year. So that could not make um, Billy Corgan very happy, the president of NWA. So now that NXT is going to be airing starting next year in 2024 on the CW network. So that means, and with that deal, that means, of course, SmackDown will be moving to the USA Network starting next year. NXT is moving to the CW network next year. That means that where is Raw going to be moved? What network is going to pick up Raw? Because, you know, which is kind of weird because before uh, before SmackDown moved to Fox, they were on the USA Network on Tuesdays, and Raw was on Monday, SmackDown was on Tuesday, and NXT was on Wednesday. So my thing is, where is Raw going to move to? You know, is it going to be called Monday Night Raw? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But on this week's episode, to get into this video, I'm sorry, guys. I am doing this video from my basement. Um, so here we go. To open the show, we saw the Southern two-thirds of the Southern Six, Kerry Morton and Alex Taylor. They were in action against the Heat Seekers, and they picked up the win over the Heat Seekers. Then we heard from the Southern Six, which was Alex Taylor, Kerry Morton, and Thrillbilly Silas Mason, the current NWA National Heavyweight Champion, um, talking about the big event or the big TV taping that's coming up on November 18th in Sarasota, Florida, at the Roburst Arena. For the first time in 30 years, the NWA will be at the Robust Arena in Sarasota, Florida on November 18th for the NWA Power TV tapings. Then we saw the current NWA Women's Television Champion, Max the Impaler, in action. She was victorious and retained her championship. We heard from the King Bees, who will have an opportunity next week on NWA Power at the NWA Women's World Tag Team Championships when they challenge Pretty Empowered for those titles. We heard from the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, EC3, talking about his big championship defense on November 18th against the number one contender, Jack Stane. Then we saw the current NWA World Tag Team Champions, Blunt Force Trauma, defeat Magic Inc. Then we heard from Chris Silvio Esquire, Blake Troop, Koa, and Khalees Malia that sets up a match for next week between Koa and Blake Troop. Then we heard from the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champions, Pretty Empowered, Kylie Page and Ella Envy, talking about their title defense next week. And in the main event, it was the NWA Women's World Champion, Kenzie Page, in a non title match, defeating Taylor Rising to end tonight's or this week's episode. So hopefully, NWA, no matter what you say about it, I think they're doing a really good job putting on good shows. Um, and hopefully they find a network. They find, hopefully if it doesn't work out with the CW network, hopefully there's other networks that will hopefully pick them up as far as and put it on television. Um, and they just have to learn that they can't be doing those kind of segments with involving drugs and stuff like that. Apparently, it was involving drugs. That's the segment that happened. So that wasn't taken very well by network execs at the CW network. So hopefully they learn from this, and hopefully they can maybe go down the line and get onto another network that will it will benefit. So we'll have to wait and see. But this has been my recap of tonight's episode of NWA Power. As always, I am Brian, and I will see you next time. See ya.